What's up, soldiers? Solid J here, and we're back with some more content. Getting straight to the point. Street Fighter 6 was announced a few days ago, and man, I am beyond hyped for this game. For those of you who don't know, Street Fighter has always been my favorite fighting game series since I was younger. My favorite memories from Street Fighter were playing Third Strike and Street Fighter UX with my dad. We actually played through most of them, if not all of them. We played the Alpha Anthology together, Street Fighter 2, Pocket Fighters, majority of them, if not all of them. So I have a fond history of Street Fighter. Seen most of the movies, if not all of them. Read the comics, and yeah, man, I'm super excited for this game. Admittedly, I didn't play Street Fighter 5 that much. It lost steam for me after Seth released. I had a lot of fun when Seth released, don't get me wrong, but after him and Gil came out, I was just like, because it was already hard for me to play the game. So, when I seen Seth and Gil come out, I was like, okay, this is a good reason to hop back in. And when Akira and Dan came out, I was hyped as well. I'm not gonna lie, I was hyped when Akira came out. I made a video on that actually. And Oro and Dan, like, that was exciting news to me. It just didn't keep me playing. It was one of those things where I hopped on, I did the trials, I did the story, and I was like, okay, this is dope. And then I didn't know where to go from there. I did like the game though. Obviously, it didn't have the best launch, but Street Fighter 5 did finish strong. It had a strong finish. The game is 10 times better than when it started, so I guess that's all that matters at this point. I really hope that Street Fighter 6 has a strong finish and a strong beginning as well. I really hope it doesn't have a bad launch, and that I'm sure it won't. I'm pretty positive they learned from their mistakes by now when it comes to that. I don't see them doing another Street Fighter 5 repeat as far as the lack of content and everything, but yeah, you never know. Hopefully they make this the best fully featured Street Fighter game ever. Hopefully it can compete with like Street Fighter 4 in terms of content. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm excited. My initial reaction when I seen the announcement trailer, or teaser, I mean, man, Ryu. I don't know what workout plan Ryu got, man. Who's training Ryu? What, they got Michael B. Jordan's coach? I don't know. Ryu's, man, mind you, he doesn't look as ripped, so he doesn't look like steroided out. He doesn't look like he's been taking like nano injections or nothing. He's not ripped how he looked in Street Fighter 5, but he's really wide. He built like Optimus Prime or something. He's just real blocky brick. Yeah, like, he's really, honestly, he resembles a lot of how he looked in the old concept art for Street Fighter. How or maybe not concept art, but just art in general, how people used to draw Ryu back then. They tended to draw him and Ken more brick-like, more wide. And that's what it reminds me of. He's not as ripped. So I don't know if that's because of them just trying to be more realistic, or if it has something to do with him being older. Like maybe he just lost his muscle. His muscle tone. He didn't lose his muscle. That dude, this is probably the beefiest that Ryu's ever looked. But yeah. But yeah, my initial reaction to him is, I love it. I love the art style. Even though it's more realistic, I have no problem with how the game looks. At least from what we saw with the teaser. I don't know if the actual game represents that, but from what we saw, I didn't have any complaints. I'll admit though, when I first saw Ryu's face, I did think he looked like, I thought that he looked like Chris Redfield. That's the first thing that popped in my head when I saw this. I was like, bro, it's like, I I was like, oh, they got Chris up in there, bro. He looks just like Chris off of RE8. Like, dang near exactly like him. If you took off his, his fucking bandana, if you took off Ryu's thing off his head, I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you thought that was Chris. So there's that, but I like it. I have no complaints. Ryu's my boy. That's my favorite character. Not my favorite character to use. I'd say like on most of the games, but he is my favorite character of the story. That's my guy right there. As far as Luke, I mean, I'm pretty indifferent to that character. I don't hate him. I don't like him either. He's just like a whatever character to me. When they announced him on Street Fighter V, I was like, okay. I didn't care for him. Hopefully he has sick gameplay though. They definitely gave him a lot of tools on Street Fighter V, so I can imagine that on 6, since he's, I guess, the main character now, I'm sure he'll have a lot of options as far as his moveset. Now, when it comes to his design, like I said, I'm pretty indifferent to his design, to his character as a whole. I don't see the point of him, but I don't dislike him. I've seen a lot of memes though, people saying he looks like Ninja, and it's a whole bunch of other people, which is funny, don't get me wrong. And I can see the similarities, but I mean, I'd say the only thing that was kind of funny to me is just his forearms. We all heard people say he looks like Popeye. He got the Popeye forearms, and he's roided out with them veins and stuff. Like that's a kind of excessive to me, but it's whatever. I don't hate it. I just hope that whatever his role is in the story is actually worth pushing him to the spotlight. I hope that whatever they do with the story, if they do choose to do a story mode, which I do hope that they do, even though that the Street Fighter V story wasn't that good, I still enjoyed bits and pieces, and I can see the potential. Obviously, I don't expect them to be on NetherRealm's level when it comes to storytelling. I don't expect them to make, like a full-fledged movie, like how Mortal Kombat or Injustice is, basically. But if they really were to use their source material, and when I say that, I mean like the actual lore of Street Fighter, there's a lot of things that they leave out on the games as far as the story. Like I like Street Fighter 4 how they did it with the arcade modes and all the different endings and stuff, but like if you read the Street Fighter comics or like watch the animated movies, it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff they can do that I wish we could see in video game form, beyond just reading like a animated text, reading how Street Fighter V's endings were. It's like you're looking at a picture and just following a picture along to see what happens. Like, that's lame, I want like a fully fledged cutscene, but with the level of seriousness as the comics or the animes. That would be like a dream come true in my eyes, because I'm more of a fan of Street Fighter for the lore rather than the gameplay. Like, I love Third Strike's gameplay, Street Fighter 4 was fun gameplay. Street Fighter 5 even has fun gameplay at times to me. Like, some characters I enjoyed more than others. But the main reason I always loved Street Fighter was because of the story, the lore. Things going on with the Dark Hado, the battle with Gouken and Akuma. All of that is always what sold me on Street Fighter. That's what I think of when I hear Street Fighter. I think of, Gotetsu, Gouken, Akuma, Ryu, Ken. I think of those people. So if they're gonna get me on board with, Luke or whoever, they gotta really kind of pushed the limits of the storytelling within the games for me. Now, and like I said, it is a fighting game, and with Street Fighter, you know, the gameplay is always going to come first in most people's eyes, and most people would want a good arcade mode and all of that, which I do as well. But if they do another story mode, I really do hope that they push the boundaries of what they did. You know, push the limits of what they did before. Because there's a lot of potential in Street Fighter V story. It just was too cheesy, and you know, it just wasn't good. I enjoyed bits and pieces of it, but you know, there's a lot to be desired. But that was the first story mode. At the same time, that was the first story mode that they worked on. That was like that. That was their first attempt. So I get it. And hopefully, with Street Fighter 6, they can take it to the next level. Hopefully, they learned from the last story. And hopefully, it's not a DLC. Hopefully, it's actually in the base game. Like, that. Like, come on. Come on now. But yeah, I'm excited. As far as the general art direction, I'm excited to see how other characters are gonna look with this new style. You know, and I also seen people comparing it to Tekken, and I mean, you know, obviously Tekken had like the more realistic sort of style. You know, it wasn't completely realistic, but you know, that's what Tekken and like Virtual Fighter were more known for. Beyond all the devil gene stuff, and you know, because that's when it gets all crazy. But besides that, it's realistic for the most part. So I can see the comparison, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with Street Fighter actually doing something different and not trying to be. It's still, and that's the thing. It doesn't look like it's gonna be completely realistic, which I like. You know, because even when you look at Ryu doesn't look like. I don't know. To me, he doesn't look like exactly like a real person, or like he's supposed to be a real person. He still has sprinkles of what made him iconic. You know, how his eyebrows go over his headband and stuff. You know, he still has sprinkles of that stuff in his design. So it's not overly realistic. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with that design and with that direction. Like, how's Ken gonna look? I seen. It's funny, I seen a meme of them saying like Ken would look like Dante of DMC5, just with blonde hair. Like, yeah, that's a possibility if they, you know, depending on how they what route they go as far as the realism. I just hope that Ken looks the best that he's ever looked. This game should have the best design for Ken. I feel like they have to do that. In order to make up for what happened in 5, we all know how he looks on 5. So, you know, I don't got to go into detail on that. But in order to redeem themselves, they have to make Ken look the best he's ever looked. Can they do it? I believe so. You know, they got the money. At least it seems like they got the money backing them up. They made a lot. They made a lot off Street Fighter 5, I believe. Did Street Fighter 5 sell well? I believe now it did, like as of late, yeah. But yeah, they got the money to back it up. They got some dope designers and people working on the game from what I've heard, so I believe that each character has the potential to look the best they've ever looked. Depending on what you think of like Ryu's design. Some people, of course, aren't going to be happy with how Ryu looks. I like it. But, I don't know if I'd say that's the best he's looked. Now that I think about it, I'd have to see him in motion, of course, and see gameplay. But this game has the potential to be the best Street Fighter has ever looked. I think how I picture Ken looking is more like I can see him looking like a combination of him from Third Strike and maybe like him from Third Strike but aged up. I think that would be dope, honestly. Yeah, if they did something like that, maybe he has his hair in a ponytail. Not like how he looked on Street Fighter 5, but you know, like a normal ponytail. Maybe a goatee or something, a little stubble. Something light. That would be badass. I can picture it in my head, but we'll see how he looks when the game actually comes out. I'm sure Chun-Li will look amazing. And oh, but you know, design aside, as far as characters that I want to see in the game, okay, I'm gonna try to think of a couple that I really want to see. All right, so Sean is probably my #1 character. We haven't seen Sean since Third Strike. Well, I'm trying to think. Was he in 5? Obviously, he wasn't a playable character, but I do believe he was in the story, briefly. But nah, I want to see him. I want to see the actual character. You know, I want to see the in-game model. Sean, in this art style, will probably be badass. I would like to see Q again. That'll be sick. Dudley, Fei Long, of course. Fei Long's my boy. I can picture Rolento being on this game. Yeah, I can picture him in this game. Crimson Viper probably would make a return. I don't really care for Crimson Viper though, honestly. I think the main person I would want to see on the game is Sean, and next would be Fei Long. Sean and Fei Long, those are the characters I would want to see. Besides that, anybody they bring back would, of course, be that would be a warm welcome. I wouldn't have any complaints if they brought back like Gulkin, or even if they added some new characters, not new to the lore of Street Fighter, but new to the games. Like if they put like Gotetsu in it, that would be sick to me. But yeah, there's so many characters. It's hard for me to think of everyone, but yeah, the main people I want to see is Sean and Fei Long, and maybe Yin and Yang. I said Yin and Yang. Is that their names? Honestly don't remember. It's Yun. No, it's Yun and Yang. Yun and Yang. I believe. I might be tripping right now, but that would be dope if they came back. But yeah, I gotta say I'm really excited for this game. I'm hoping that in the summer when they do show more or give us more information of it, I hope they show some gameplay, even if it's like 30 seconds worth of gameplay. You know, you show me Ryu doing a Hadouken, whatever, that would be sick. And I'd be fine with that. You know, just give us something. You know, I hope they can give us some gameplay and hopefully a idea of when the game will be releasing. I'm guessing it will be next year. Given the timing that they're showing it now, it's probably not going to come out until next year. But nonetheless, I'm excited, and I hope all of you are too. I appreciate you watching the video. If you made it this far, truly, truly, thank you. And I hope all of you have a great night or day, depending on when you watch this. And feel free to like it and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And yeah, have a great day, y'all. Peace.